Well, it's been 6 months since I've turned a pen, so I think it's time we get back at it. I have this piece of mesquite burl, and I have this acrylic blank that's from Beartooth Woods. It's called Brown Sugar Blue and Lava Explosion. It's actually, I think it's an Alumilite blank. And I have this Vertex Supreme pen kit. I'll bet you I can come up with a combination. Let's see. Alright, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to use this Vertex Supreme Rollerball pen kit, and it's a magnetic cap, by the way. I think you'll like that if you've never used it. It's kind of like the Vertex Rollerball, but this one's a little fancier. And on the cap, we're going to use in the middle 1.5 inches of the Brown Sugar Blue Explosion, which I talked about there. And then out here on the ends, we're going to flank it with about 1/4 inch at both ends of mesquite burl. I just love this Texas mesquite. And then on the body, we're also going to have 1.5 inches in the center of mesquite burl, but then we're going to have 2 strips about 1/8 to 3/16 centered of this same lava explosion brown sugar, and then we'll finish the ends out with mesquite burl. Should be a real nice pen. So first off, we need to cut all our pieces. We need 2 pieces, 1.5 inches, and a couple of pieces at each end. We'll make these long so that we can trim it, and then we'll just center it up. Well, here's our pieces. The upper cap, like we said, we've got 1.25 inches in the middle. I think I said 1.5 inches before, and then it'll finish out with the mesquite burl. The lower portion of the pen, we've got mesquite burl in the center and at the ends with one highlight of the same. Now we can glue it up. Okay, we're going to be using CA glue to stick these two together this morning. Okay, I've got my lathe set up to drill on center with the, I think it's 31/64 for the bit cap. Got a mark right here on my drill bit where to stop. Got my speed set at about 840. That may be a little fast. I'll slow it down if it is. I've got my denatured alcohol handy and a paper towel in case the bit starts getting warm, and it will. And remember, if you're doing acrylics and hardwood like mesquite, drill bits have got to be sharp and keep them cool. After about every third or fourth pin that I drill with a bit, I'll sharpen it with my drill doctor, just a lick or two. That keeps them sharp. Okay, I've already hit the mesquite at the back end of this blank, so now I'm approaching my mark. So I'm going to be real tender with it as we enter the exit in. I do not want to blow this blank out. I'm really sneaking up on it. Perfect center. That is what I like drilling on the lathe. It's just you've got complete control of your feed rate and even the speed. You can just micromanage it if you need to. Now I'll do the other end the same way. Now, I didn't show this in the cap. I'm going to do it on the body, but it's a good idea. You can get these 60-degree centering bits. I think I got this set at Harbor Freight pretty cheap. But it's really a good idea to put a starter hole right in the center. That way your drill bit will not wander away when you start drilling. Well, if you remember, I made the blanks oversized. So now I've got to come back and we've got to center them up. Made it oversized so that when we drilled it, it wouldn't blow out. But now we need to center it up. And just see how we're doing here. Looks like that is a quarter. Yeah, that's pretty close right there. Let's see how that measures out. That was the plan, was for it to be a quarter at each end, or 3/8, something like that. Yep. Not bad. So what we'll do now is I'll trim one edge on my segmenting sled, and then I'll get the other side close. And you'll see why in a minute. And I'll do that on both of them. I've already marked this one. See, this one is going to be centered in here just like that. Today I'm going to use 2-part epoxy to glue our tubes in. I'll put a little bit on the inside. Keep your denatured alcohol handy when using epoxy. Now we'll let those dry overnight. One of the things that I like to do is set my calipers slightly bigger than the bushings. On this lower end that's the same at both ends, but I like to set my calipers a little bigger. Normally I'll use some metric wrenches, but I don't have those unpacked yet, so I set my calipers a little bigger, and I get this turned down to that first, and then I'll blend it in to the bushings. So lets me get it nice and even first. You can see here I'm a little big at this piece of acrylic, a little big around there, a little big there, so still need to blend a little bit. Okay, we're going to assemble this now, and the only thing that you have to be careful about is on the cap, one end is 575 and the other end is 551. The smaller end is where the clip's going to go. So we just have to kind of watch for that. Okay, got the parts laid out. First of all, we press the clip in into the narrow end of the upper barrel. If you look at the instructions, it'll tell you which is the narrow end. And then we press the other part of the cap, which is the magnetic band, into the other end. And that's all there is to that. And now we just press these two couplers into each end of the lower barrel. So a real simple assembly.
The first one?
Now we just screw the lower barrel in, Drop our spring in. Drop our refill in. Put our upper barrel in. And we have it.